So now I found myself bunking or sculling school every single chance I got. Yes. So I would leave school every week, like one day from the week. So I would go every week to see him. I would leave school. Of course, I'm seeing him after school. But yes, every day. This guy, he picked me up from school. He would drop me at school. And of course, we had one day in the week where we would go out together and we would go different places and all of that. So what I would do, I would always take change of clothing in my school bag and change off in his vehicle. So he had his taxi and then he had his other cars. They were all tinted, heavily tinted. And when we're going out, he would either drive the other vehicle or his taxi. So every time I would leave school, I would make sure that I come back in time before dismissal. Because again, remember, I am going to school and my brother goes to the same school. So we have to always be home at the same time. Only if my brother is not having extracurricular activities at school, because he was always involved with after school clubs and all of that, except for me. I was not. I was more interested in my guys and everything. Sad to say, but it was my reality at the time. Yes, I had my curfew time as well. Finished, so I dismissed at 3:10 p.m. every day, and I had to ensure that I reach home at 4 p.m. latest 4:30 if it's not raining. 4 p.m. If it's raining, 4:30, or sometimes I'll have a little leeway depending on the traffic, because you know how it can get hectic when the rain is falling because everybody's trying to bombard every taxi that they see, right? So that's how I'll get some form of leeway, only if it's raining. So I remember one day he came up to school, but the car that he was driving, it would have this somewhat look of a Bugatti. So it really, really looked like one of those latest cars in that time. Yeah. And he was racing to come up to school to come and get me because it was dismissal time. And I was waiting for him because we already had made plans, because I would use my friend's phone to call him, because remember, I don't have any phone now anymore. And so all my phone privilege was gone, even though, you know, they didn't know if I'm doing anything, or, you know, at this point they thought now I'm behaving myself because there was nothing happening for months now, right? Since I moved back with my guardian. Yeah. So, but they still didn't want to give me any phone, which was okay because I was still having my conversations anyway. So I borrowed my friend's phone. I would communicate with him and I was saying, where are you? Where are you? He was stuck in traffic. So he was racing up the school to come. So by the time he should reach up the school, everyone was already out and going about their business. And then my friends would come out. So I did not want anyone to see me going in his car, but he wanted everyone to see me going in his car. People knew who my dad was. So I had to be very mindful. So he kept saying, come in the car. And I was like, no, because we're in the town of Spaldings now. So everyone knows my dad and they know who I am as well. So I was like looking around quickly and then I just jumped into the vehicle. So now one day I remember I was waiting for this guy and I could not see him coming. You know, we already had made plans. We already had, you know, talked about what we're gonna do. I already had brought my change of clothing in my bag and all of that. Like, I would always ensure that I was on target, on point when we need to meet up. Like, I was very much consistent, and he too was consistent too, until like just before I found out that he was married, by the way, as well, I should say. We made plans during school hours, because I remember I said that anything I had to do with him had to be in school hours, during the school hours. So anyways, I brought my change of clothing in my bag, and then I'm thinking, why can't I get through to this man? And we were supposed to meet at a particular time, but then I saw that the time was passing and I still could not see him. So I was thinking, where is this man? I used my friend's phone as usual. I called him, no answer, no response. So my heart dropped. I was thinking, what happened? I was thinking, did something happen to him? I started thinking like a lot of things was going through my head. Of course, now I was in class. I was very, very annoyed. I was agitated. I could not learn anything. But mind you, at this point, my grades was falling. Yeah, I should mention this. My grades was falling because my mind was just not in school anymore. My mind was just onto different things. As I told you, I was highly compromised sexually, and my grades was starting to deteriorate, and the classes that I was going in was like the low classes in Knox. And yeah, Knox don't really have low classes, but then they had to build classes because people was just falling down on their grades, and that was me at that time. It was really bad, like honestly. Anyways, I was in class and I'm not learning anything anyways, and all I'm thinking about is this man is school dismissed now, and I quickly hurry up and left just to see if I could see him. I could not see this man at all on the route, so I ended up taking a different taxi. Mind you, at this point I haven't been taking taxi for the longest while, so it was so weird taking another taxi. So anyways, took a taxi to get into Christiana Town where I live anyways, and I remember standing up and just scanning around. When I looked down, I saw this man's car driving up. And as he was driving up, remember, at this point, I did not realize that he was married. It was afterwards that I found out that he was married after this situation. So anyways, I saw his car driving up. And remember, I told you that his vehicle was heavily tinted, so you could not really see who is in the vehicle. But I know his vehicles. Yeah. So anyways, I saw the vehicle, and as he drove up towards me, I was fanning him down, like waving him down to stop, and I saw that he was driving quickly past me. And then I was like, then he kind of stopped, because again, remember, he's like a taxi driver, so if anything, the woman would think that I'm just stopping him as a taxi, right? So anyways, he rolled down his window and said, "I'm not working now, I'm bringing my wife out." And I said, "Oh, okay." And I walked away instantly with my heart shattered. Oh, my heart was broken. My throat went dry instantly. You know them ones where your throat, I felt like I couldn't swallow. My throat went dry completely. God. I decided, yep, that's it. I'm not talking to him ever again. That was it. I'm finished with him. I remember going to school and I said to my friend, I said, if this man calls you, please do not take the phone call. Yeah? Don't take the phone call. And she was like, okay. Because remember, he would have her number and he knew who she was because they both live in the same community, but she did not know this. She did not know who this guy was, by the way. Yeah, but she knew that I was just using her phone to call somebody, but she didn't know who it was. But the guy knew who she was because I would show her whenever she's going about her business to go home. I would be in the car and I'll be like, "Oh, that's my friend's phone that I always used to call you." And then he was like, "Oh, I know her. She lives in the same community where I live." And I was like, "Oh, is it?" So of course, he knew that he could call her phone to get through to me, if anything, right? So he started looking for me. He could not see me. I saw him. I walked past him. I jumped in another taxi and go about my business. So he started to feel some type of way about it. So I remember being at school and he called my friend's phone. So when he called my friend's phone, my friend came to me and said, "Listen, the guy, it keeps calling me and I do not know what to tell him. So it's either you talk to him or I'm going to block his number from calling me, or tell him to stop calling my phone because he keep calling me even when I'm in class," because we would have different separate classes as well. Me and that friend, we were doing different subjects. And I said, "Okay, cool." One of the day, the girl said to me, "Yeah, I know the guy as well because he introduced himself to me." And she said, "Yeah, we live in the same community." And then she said to me, "You know that he's a married man, right?" And I said, "What?" She said, "Yeah, you know he's a married man." And I said, "Yeah, I found out." And I said, "Oh." And she said, yeah, he lives in the community, and you know, they're like the bossy men, and he's married, and he's got his wife and he's got his children. And I said, "Yeah, I know his child because I knew his child because we would always go to pick up his child from school as well, and we would always talk." So he introduced me to his child. So I thought, okay, cool. So, but I've never known that he had a wife because we never spoke on it. So anyway, now, because I had moved out from my dad was still a little bit upset, but my dad did not leave me an inch. Yes, every chance he got, he was still keeping up to date with me. he was still coming to visit and everything, like normal that he would do anyways, because he wanted to ensure that I was being good. So of course, I was not giving them any form of inclination that I was being bad. So they thought that I was being good, and this was like months. So it was coming up to like about 8 months now since I've been good. They thought that because now I'm saved and I'm walking with God, they thought, okay, they didn't have to worry about me in certain ways because I was reading my Bible. Like I read from Genesis to Revelation, like all 66 books of the Bible, them times at 14. They saw this was happening and they thought, okay, she's at a place now where she's behaving herself, so they could rest assured and not be so uptighty about everything anymore. So this was where I literally turned back. Because I wasn't getting the right nurturing in how I walk with God. I thought that, okay, I got saved, I'm reading the Bible. I thought that was just it. Because of course, there was nobody to teach me how to walk with God the right and proper way. So I was just reading the Bible, going to church, and then not really delving deeper into the aspects of God, doing the things that are pleasing to God per se, because I did not understand at the time. But because of course they thought that I was saved and nothing was happening, I was not getting in any problems or anything, they thought, okay, she is doing good now. But I was not. I was getting up with all of these things, undetected, unknowing by all of them. Yes. The married man, when I found out that he was married and everything, he was consistent. He kept coming up to the school. He wanted to talk to me. It was like he could not understand why I was not, giving him the time of the day. And I was like, I just don't want to talk to you. Like, leave me alone.